Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, Green Day at Riot Fest. And remember, Monday at 8, your chance to qualify for Fest for a chance to go to the Boston Calling Music Festival with a one-day ticket to Riot Fest, which could be the day that Green Day is playing at Riot Fest. So make sure you're here every day next week at 8 o'clock, this exact time. Put it in your phone to remind yourself. Now we move on to Case's movie review. Kathy in Melrose Park said she put this on her calendar, and she never seen Friday either. So she watched it this week and says, Case, and this is from her text, from checking it from Melrose Park, don't F up this review. So let's see what happens. Let's get into it.
For Christ's sake, tomorrow's the 4th of July, and we will be open for business.
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
Utah. Give me 2.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.
Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand.
Now fry like bacon, you little freshman piggies! Fry! Fry!
Playing football in West Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
Friday, written and starring Ice Cube, dropped April 26, 1995, so technically tomorrow, 30 years ago. The budget was $3.5 million, and the box office was $27.4 million. I have to assume it was in hundreds of million with DVDs and tapes later on. We're going back that far, on that one. Rotten Tomatoes gives the film an approval rating of 77% based on 30 reviews with an average rating of 6.4 out of 10. Director Quentin Tarantino counted Friday as one of his 20 favorite movies from 1992 to 2009.
I would not have guessed that.
Odd. But warranted. So let's start how we always start with the trailer. This is how it was promoted in TV and commercial land. Friday, 30 years ago.
If you ain't got my money, I'm killing you and him. You done dragged me into this?
You know what your problem is. You have no game.
I got all the gang. Ice Cube, Chris Tucker, Bernie Mac, Johnny Witherspoon.
Your father, he got game.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 45 minutes. Friday. Somebody open the window.
Directed by F. Gary Gray. When you see the movie Friday, check out Dr. Dre's new video on the big screen. Rated R. Starts Wednesday.
Wait, what?
So the only trailer, this is fantastic. If this isn't a sign that this movie's 30 years old, the only trailer that exists on YouTube for this movie is one that advertises that, hey, go see the movie because you can also see Dr. Dre's new music video in theaters.
I have to hear that again. This is the end of the commercial for Friday.
Somebody open the window.
Directed by F. Gary Gray. When you see the movie Friday, check out Dr. Dre's new video on the big screen. Rated R. Starts Wednesday.
That is fantastic. I love that.
It would get me to go to theaters. That's awesome.
Oh, it's so good. So this is a movie that I love, and I'm curious, just like our check-in from Melrose Park, if, I love that people are watching these movies that haven't seen either the week you do the review. So go ahead, Case. What did you think of the movie Friday?
I was so surprised at, sometimes I watch a really big movie like a Shawshank or something, and I get DMs the night before like, oh, you better like this. I'm going to be pissed if you don't. I was surprised that Friday had the same level of fandom, the same level of fervor of people really, really hoping that I loved this movie. And I have to say, even though, and I think this is a fair assessment, you tell me if I'm wrong, even though I'm not exactly a weed guy, not exactly a pothead, if you would say so.
Have you ever smoked pot?
I've barely been around it, let alone smoked it. No, I have not.
Okay.
Not my thing. More power to you if it is. Not really my thing. I gotta say, for a stoner comedy, this is a delightful movie. This is so much fun.
Said a non-stoner.
Yeah.
It's delightful. No one ever called Friday delightful before.
It's a real hoot, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I was slapping my knee the entire time.
It's a hoot. I was slapping my knee. Yes, your 77-year-old grandmother just saw Friday.
Well, and I think the thing that is so great about this movie is over the last year, as I've started to watch all these films, this started because when I started working with Brian, the only two movies I had seen were Boys in the Hood and Norbit. And the reason this movie came about is that Ice Cube was kind of sick of there only being one dominant black film being made at that time, a Boys in the Hood type movie. And he went, It's South Central. We have laughs every now and then.
Yeah.
We can be fun guys as well. And this movie made me realize I got to start hanging out on porches. This whole movie takes place in one neighborhood. It basically takes place on one street. They go in a few different houses here or there. They're in backyards bopping around. But by and large, they're sitting on a porch for most of this movie. I gotta start sitting on porches. I'm missing out on all this action by being inside with the lights off like I normally am.
Porch, stoop, whatever you refer to it as.
I gotta get a stoop in my life. I have no stoop.
Stoop, soup. Wait.
Stoop, baby.
I was going to say stoop sitting is fun.
Oh.
Stoop sitting. Stoop sitting. You got to be careful with that. Stoop sitting. Yes, very good. It is all basically filmed on a porch, and you see the emergence of Chris Tucker. You see his genius in this movie as well.
Well, I love how low stakes it is. It's one day. Famous line, how do you get fired on your day off? It's Friday. They need to come up with $200. I love that it's only $200. It's not this high stakes like, oh, you need $1,000 and then you're going to get evicted and then this and that and the other thing. It's like, hey, you need to get the drug dealer $200. It's a very low stakes movie. And it's the first time, I talked a few weeks ago when I watched Top Gun. It was the first Tom Cruise movie that I had ever seen. This was the first Chris Tucker movie that I had ever seen. Let me tell you, funny guy.
Pretty funny, and didn't stick with the whole series of Friday movies. Big mistake on his part, by the way, in the sequel. So
this is going to make it sound like a dumb question, but I don't know. What else has he done? It's a name I've only heard. I had never seen a movie of his before.
Why am I drawing a blank on Chris Tucker all of a sudden? Because
I felt like this was in your wheelhouse.
Well, again, from Friday, and he made a big mistake. He was in, boy, I'm really drawing a blank.
I wasn't expecting you to. I apologize.
Because I thought Friday was his first movie. I just went to his filmography. The Meteor Man and House Party 3 was actually his first two movies before Friday.
Well, Friday was his first real movie. Rush Hour he was in the Rush Hour franchise. Is that what I'm thinking of?
He was in Rush Hour.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
And he had a small role in Silver Linings Playbook, which was very fun. He hasn't done tons of movies.
That's a shame because, Ice Cube is a great actor, and I love him as Doughboy in Boys in the Hood, and I loved him when he visited the studio a few years ago, and in the elevator, I told him Boys in the Hood was my favorite movie of all time, and he did not seem impressed by that. But Chris Tucker really steals this movie. I mean, what an electric actor this guy is. It's a shame. I know there's 2 Friday sequels. I looked that up last night. It's a shame he's not in either of those because I would watch them just on my own time.
Correct.
He's so funny in this movie. The great thing about Friday is I did not realize this is the origin story for Bye Felicia.
Yeah, right?
This is such a quotable movie. There were so many quotes in this movie between that and he gonna cry in the car.
Oh.
And how do you get fired on your day off? And the gif that I've seen a million times where Chris Tucker and Ice Cube, when they're on the stoop and they go, damn, I didn't know that was from a movie.
Wait. How does that go again?
So Chris Tucker and Ice Cube are on a stoop and they go, damn.
What'd you think it was from?
I don't know.
How you at?
Oh, it's cool.
Damn! Put your glasses back on.
You just thought it was some gift people created.
I thought it was just a gift that people's moms sent each other on Facebook. I didn't know it was from a movie.
It is funny that this movie has an incredible amount of quotable parts like damn, and you mentioned he's going to cry in the car. That's one I love that the most, of course, from Friday.
You're going to cry in the car.
That's my chain now. Debo, rest in peace.
Debo, rest in peace. Zeus from the WWF.
Well, exactly. And also, you mentioned John Witherspoon. The other quotable thing, don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 40 minutes. John Witherspoon came on the show, and he was the nicest, so funny dude, and he loved doing the lines. Some guys, when they do something great that they're remembered for, want to move on from it, and they want to say, hey, I'm doing stuff now. He lived in the lines that he did in movies. John Witherspoon, rest in peace as well. And boy, is he funny, and he was a real nice man.
Well, I am not normally somebody, as I wrap up here, I'm not somebody that typically enjoys, I think the term is scatological humor. I'm not a bathroom humor guy. It grosses me out. Not normally my thing. There's a lot of bathroom jokes in this movie. They're all hilarious. They really threaded a needle there that made me comfortable laughing at what happens in your most intimate moments of privacy, i.e. the bathroom. Normally a thing I'm incredibly uncomfortable by, but in this movie it really worked.
Also, John Witherspoon having the really intellectual part about don't take the gun, use your fists. Come to fight another day.
The problem today is nobody gets their ass kicked anymore.
No. And, the big fight at the end that goes on forever, it feels like.
It goes on for a very long time. Right? Look, this is not a perfect movie. It's a fun movie. It's not a perfect movie.
It gets a little too serious. I'm like, what happened to the weed? Let's just do that.
I want to hear jokes. I want them to be back on the stoop.
Oh, Debo, that's my bike. That's my bike now. All right, so let's see. What are you going to rate this on? Joints?
Out of doobies, I think.
Doobies?
I think that's what I did Dazed and Confused with.
Many people with you saying this movie was a hoot, a knee slapper, and now you're saying doobies. This is the whitest review of Friday ever, but go ahead, Casey. Doobies, what do you rate this movie?
I don't think we're going to send this tape to Ice Cube's camp to get him back on the show.
He's coming, so we should try to get him in again. He's coming to the United Center. So it's not the big three. He's performing.
At the United Center?
Yeah, I believe he is.
Ooh, okay.
I'll have to double check that, but I believe he's coming. We got to get him in. He was so fun last time.
He was great, and we'll have more fun this time.
If you keep saying doobies, he's not coming in.
Look, I got to rate this movie out of doobies. It's a stoner classic. It's not a perfect movie, but it's a very fun movie. I liked it for what it was. I thought it was funnier than, say, Tommy Boy.
That's unbelievable.
Funnier than Dazed and Confused. I'd go a solid 7 doobies out of 10.
7 doobies.
On the 30th anniversary of Friday.
All right, there's the review. If you came in at the end, it'll be on the podcast.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.